After 3 years and over 300,000 downloads, we were forced to give up our show. Anne and Frank are not our real names, but these are our real experiences and honest opinions. The victim mafia has become a powerful beast. They have become the victimizers and are forcing their dysfunctions on us all. When we stood up to them, they looked up our home addresses. They called our employers. They threatened our very livelihoods until we were quiet. But instead of letting them win, we decided to continue the fight. As Anne and Frank, live from Ned's attic. Hello, welcome everybody. Do I sound pretty good? Sound good, Ned?
Yes.
Wow, that theme song that Anne wrote, that whole little theme thing, is more meaningful today than it was when we recorded it. It's pretty impressive.
It certainly is.
Well, first let me say hi to you both before we get into it. Today's topic is about the modern state of comedy. Specifically about doing like what I call like punk rock comedy, you know, where you kind of push the envelope and say things. Louis C.K. did a great monologue on Saturday Night Live, and of course he's in a load of trouble by the victim mafia. And then Chris Pratt, I believe is his name, did a preemptive apology, which was brilliant, before doing his press tour for Jurassic World. And it's just a different landscape today. That's what we're going to talk about. But first, let me say hello to my two best friends in the entire world. Ned, hello.
Hello.
Thanks for being here. And Anne, who's calling in today, say hello. Great job.
Hello.
Yeah, there you are.
I was waiting. I was hesitating to make sure I didn't interrupt.
Oh my God! Such a fucking passive-aggressive shot. And last week we had a great guest on, Bunny, who is one of my new favorite people that I've met on Twitter. And actually, the reason we're on K98 Talk right now, we're being simulcast for the first time in 5 years. We've been on FM, we've been on Blog Talk, we've been on another website, and now this. Creating wake wherever we go, destruction, getting fired, yelled at, pissing people off, threatened. Every step of the way we've been knocked down, but we continue to rise up. And Bunny has been instrumental in our latest Phoenix Rising from the Ashes. So anyway, love her. But I felt that Anne interrupted Bunny last week. Ned, if you remember, we went back and listened to the show and we were counting every time she interrupted. And what was our final count?
He was 7.5.
7.5 times. Yeah, in a 45-minute interview. Now, in Anne's defense, there is a delay on the phones of about 2 seconds. So sometimes this happens a lot on the show when we're interviewing a guest on the phone, and I'll talk, and it sounds like we're really disorganized because we talk over each other. The truth is, the caller is experiencing about a 2-second delay. Full 2 seconds. Not 1, 2, but 1, 2. So sometimes we talk over each other. But Anne was on the phone with Bunny. They were both on the phone. I am unaware if there's still delay, so that's why I got upset. And at the end of the show, when I usually call Anne to say, hey, great job, here's what we can do better, I rudely, I must say, I was very assertive in telling her to shut the fuck up and to stop interrupting. So Anne and I got in about a 3-day fight. Some of the best...
It was 1 day. It felt like 3 days. It was 1 day.
It was only 1 day?
Yeah,
wow.
Because the other stuff happened the next day, and we had to unite again. It saved us.
That's true. We got to catch people up on what we're talking about. I just want to say those text messages I got from Anne. When Anne is Firestarter, when she goes fucking full crazy, like Phoenix and X-Men Part 3 or whatever one it was, she is brilliantly mean and funny. Some of the meanest, most hilarious texts I've ever got on my phone. I ended up having to immediately delete them, because they were so horrible. But anyway, we're better now.
They were horrible.
They were pretty bad. You were upset. And it was a heavy topic. Yeah. It was a heavy show. And so after the show last week, Ned, we count the interviews. Anne is sending me texts like, you're a fucking dickless, bald loser, blah, blah, blah. I hate you. Go fuck yourself.
No,
kill yourself.
You know what? I have them right here.
Oh, can I hear a couple of them?
I'll read some, and I will not read some, don't worry. But somewhere, go rub your spew all over your scalp and fuck yourself so hard. I hate you, scumbag, faggot, mommy's boy. I hate you, 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 I hate you. Go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself.
There are literally that many. Go fuck yourself.
And all you said was that you interrupted me 7 times?
Yeah, all I said is I gave her a note saying, can you please not talk over the guest? Yes. But this is my life, Ned.
But like with the
How
reaction
many times
doesn't.
have I done that? How many times have I done that to you? Be honest.
This is the
gone
first.
Crazy where I.
The first time you've gone this
Okay,
crazy.
so
But, I mean, you've been a bitch quite a few times, but this is the first time you've gone like fire starter.
I've taken a lot over the 4 years. That's
Yeah.
what she said. Trust
Yeah,
me, like
you
you
have.
do.
And it's a tough show. And again, this thing, if you...
And I felt horrible. Can we be clear too?
Yeah.
Like I was texting my friend Karen, saying, "Oh my gosh, I went full batshit crazy last night on Jake. Like I said stuff I don't even remember. Like I had blackout texting rage."
What is it about me that makes people do this? I don't understand, because it wasn't just isolated to you, Ann. I got this at work. I got this in my family. I even got it from my wife the last few days. Like, it's not, hey, Frank, we're upset with you. Let's talk. It's like blind fucking fire starter rage where I'm like dodging dishes and punches in the face. And I'm like the nicest fucking guy in the world. I don't get it.
Well, being around you for many years, I've noticed you like to sort of stir up the pot.
Yeah.
To kind of like, not necessarily make things worse on purpose, but you just can't help yourself by talking back to sort of like egg people on to make them a little bit more mad than they already
That's
are.
true. I do poke. All right.
Particularly women or
Particularly women.
feminine.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's catch people up. Okay, our problems are all solved, but after the show last week, like I said, what started this was, if you listen to our theme song, we talk about how we've been doing this show, and we're on the run, we're in hiding, the Victim Mafia, who I shall explain again, especially now that we're simulcasting the K98 Talk. The Victim Mafia is the enemy of the people, specifically the enemy of the greatest country on the planet, the United States of America. And the Victim Mafia is not simply just a leftist or just a feminist. We don't categorize them in those small groups. They are much bigger. It is a group that uses faux victimization to leverage political gain. And we all know who they are. You can see it dispersed through Gamergate, if you're following Gamergate. Those women like Anita Sarkeesian saying that, you know, games are misogynist and every boy that plays video games wants to kill women. That's Victim Mafia. It's not about a conversation.
What is faux victimization? What do you mean by that?
By faux victimization, I mean they're not really victimized. Anita Sarkeesian and a modern feminist in America, for instance, is not oppressed, nor are they in any sort of trouble where they're being victimized. They're not. It's not a rape culture. This is not the Middle East. You're not getting stoned for reading a book. Guys like to play video games. Sometimes there's boobies in the video games. That does not affect your life. But what happens is this group of the Victim Mafia, which sometimes we see in the LGBTQ, for example, when we talk about the gay wedding cake story we've covered here, where if you deny cake because it's against your religion, all of a sudden you want to curb stomp every homosexual on the planet and put them in camps. That's Victim Mafia behavior. I will say there are some people that are victimized. And we here at Ann and Frank are friends of victims. We believe in empowering victims. We are not trying to diminish your experiences. If you have been raped, if you have been oppressed, we will be on your side. We will be your fiercest ally. But if you're going to complain
And we've
about
all
it...
been...
She just interrupted me. Do you hear that?
A little
Yeah.
bit.
That's
Sorry,
one. I'm going to count
said it's
one.
okay
That's
with
one.
You, Frank.
Let's
No,
keep
you
it
said it's allowed with Frank, not our guest.
I lied. That's
that was
one.
the
That's one
discussion.
against you. Don't text me.
Then forget it.
No, let me just finish this thing. So we will be your fiercest ally if you have been victimized. The people we are going after are people that are not victimized, but feel victimized. In fact, they're comfortable. If you really psychoanalyze them and get them in a dark room and talk to them, they are actually comfortable with their victim complex. It works for them. And those are people I find disgusting for the main reason, and this is it, this is my entire theory on the planet, or everything wrong with this world, is if you are going to claim that you've been victimized when you have not, you are actually diminishing the pain of a real life victim. If you're going to say, for instance, fart rape, which is one of our favorite modern feminist things, fart rape. If those of you who don't know what fart rape is, that's when a man farts near you, but it's to insert his alpha dominance and it's subconscious rape. We talked with Bunny last week about telepathic rape. When you look at a girl's AVI, these people are fucking nuts. When you say that someone farting or looking at your picture is rape, you are diminishing a woman who has actually been taken and raped. And we are friends of victims here. We do not mean to diminish or put down a victim. We do not like faux victims. So that's the Victim Mafia. Now, before you talk and interrupt me a second time, I just want to say these are the people that are the most violent offenders of what they claim to be against, which is bullying, targeted attacks, and they have gone after us for years because every week I've gotten on the show. Again, this is an alias show. There's only 9 Anna Franks, but we used to do a show before with a real name, which I'll never give you, and we had to go into hiding because every week we talked about taking personal responsibility and not acting like a fucking lunatic. The mental ill army within the victim mafia shut us down. So that's why we went into hiding. We didn't tell anyone. We didn't tell our friends and family. We told about 10 people. So last week when we had Bunny on, she tweeted out the show. She's got a lot of great followers. One of them that followed her believes me to be a guy named Jake Pentland, the son of Roseanne Barr. I guess we sound alike. I looked at a picture of him. He is much, much more handsome than me. He is a lot smarter, and I don't say that easy because there's only one guy I know of that's better looking and smarter than me, and that would be this Jake Pentland. And one of his scorned young homosexual trolls, who I will not name because I don't even know his name. It's Braylon or something.
It doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter.
That's not the point.
It's not the point.
The
Some
point
guy
is that you're one of your biggest employers, right? Mm-hmm. Found out about our Alias show.
My boss, I won't say his name because it's not important, was contacted by this young mentally ill homosexual who felt that Jake Pentland never gave him the time of day because Jake Pentland's a heterosexual and this young homosexual is mentally ill. And he contacted my employer saying, they are calling you a Nazi. Their show is called The Anne Frank Show. And my employer was very upset. I got emails. So just to reiterate, I do the show last week with Bunny. I tell Anne to shut the fuck up, and she goes batshit crazy, yells at me for a day, telling me to go fuck my bald head. Then my boss emails me that I'm fired for calling him a Nazi because he believed this young guy. Because most people don't think people are this mentally ill, especially a young man.
Mental midget, it's called.
Yeah. So they took this boy, this little twisted victim mafia homosexual, posed as a woman, an attractive woman. So he's really, really mentally ill. Went after my boss and told him, why did I say my boss is a woman? That's weird. It told him that we were calling him a Nazi. So then I almost got fired. So for 2 or 3 days I was fired. Anne's texting me. It starts to mellow out.
You mean your boss just read one text and he reacted that?
Well, that's the victim mafia. The victim mafia doesn't, if you watch how they work, they don't call up and go, hey, there's a show you might disagree with. Because they know in the field of debate, they will lose because they don't have a leg to stand on. So what they do is they work within the black magic of their minds because they're mentally ill and they're sociopaths and they're really good at it, like serial killers. They find a way to tailor the message to upset the person they're delivering the message
without
to.
clarifying what actually took place.
No need. Okay. Your employee is saying you're a Nazi. That would get you in trouble at work anywhere.
Yeah.
And it never happened. I've never called my employer a Nazi on this show. I talk about the victim mafia. It has nothing to do with my boss. It has nothing to do with anyone in my family. Nothing to do with my friends. They're completely unrelated. So that kind of mellowed out around Wednesday, Thursday. I'm emailing around. I'm getting fired. I'm getting evicted. Anne, again, is batshit fucking crazy. And it starts to settle down around Thursday. And then my wife goes crazy on me, which I'm not going to get into. She has an argument. She has a point. Apparently, I'm spending too much time making the greatest podcast of all time. It's pulling away from marriage. So she went fucking batshit crazy on me the last 2 days. So here we are caught up. My last week, I have Bunny on. We've been an Alias show. We knew someday people would find out that, we're an Alias and they would try and shut us down. And the victim mafia came after us and they came after us hard. But we did not lose. And like I said in this theme at the beginning of this show, we continued to fight, and that's what we will do. So we are back on live this Saturday, and we'll be here next week. And now we are simulcasting, not only at theannandfrankshow.com. Is it theannandfrankshow.com or annandfrank.com?
No, you're right. You had it
theannandfrankshow.com, but also on K98talk.com. So anyway, we made it through another week. Anne, have you been taking your meds? You're better?
I've actually been taking absolutely nothing except the probiotics that our nutritionist recommended, and that has actually seemed to give me a lot of relief. Like she said, it can affect your hormone production.
I have to say, our guest Kim.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers down your throat, fatty. Our guest Kim, 2 weeks ago, you can go back and listen to all these shows. They're very good shows. We did a show on emotional eating. And I have to say, since that show, so Bunny ruined my life, but the week before, Kim saved it. I have actually lost 4.5 pounds by my count. I have not been able to finish a complete plate of something that I've ordered. And you two have eaten with me in public. You know how fucking gross it is. You know what can happen. I'm eating about half to 3/4 of the plate and keeping it for later and eating the leftovers. I'm dropping weight. I don't feel...
Are you eating at a table? I hope you're not eating in front of the television.
I never eat in front of the television. I don't, but I don't.
Really?
Yeah, did I say it on that show? I was lying if I said
Oh,
it.
I do every time, but I don't have a
Sometimes.
problem like you do.
Well, when I'm like the darkest is when I eat in front of
By
the
myself.
refrigerator, and it's like the middle of the night, and I'm not wearing any clothes, and I'm just standing there with my gut and like ball sack leaning, and I'm like huffing, and there's chicken grease on my face, and I'm looking over my shoulder so no one notices. That's when it gets dark. TV's not a problem. Anyway, you can go back and listen to that show. Most people say it's the best show we've ever done, not just as Anne and Frank, but even on our old show.
I actually got to know you a lot better listening to that show.
I'm very
I
honest.
wasn't very aware of things you were going through.
And you've been my best friend for, what, 12 years now?
Yeah, but guys don't usually talk about
That's true.
diet and eating.
That's true. It's kind of gay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, we've survived the victim mafia. I still have a job. Still have a place to live. And we're still here. So let's get on to the topic, okay? We're all friends here. By the way, if you're listening and you're new because of K98 or you're an old friend of the show, please call in because today is kind of a loose format. Since I was getting stuff thrown at me and hurled at my head and fired and evicted, and every woman I know is batshit crazy this week, I was not able to plan the show at the level that I normally do. And did you have something you wanted to say about why women go crazy around me?
Yeah, I think it's not ironic at all. It's just obvious that there's something going on with you. If all four of women that have a huge part in your life that care about you, from your mom to your sister to your wife to me, are coming at you,
Yeah.
doesn't that tell you something? Like there's something with you that is attracting this. Not that what I said is okay, not that what anyone's saying or doing is okay, but there's something that you're engaging in, like Ned said, to trigger each one of these women in your life. Like that, it's very significant that all four.
It is very significant. I actually think, because I thought about it, that there's something astrological or God's testing me. It's the only thing I can come up
That
with.
kind of takes you off the hook, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It
and-
does. He has no responsibility in that.
But I'm not doing it to evade responsibility. It's the only logical explanation I can think of is that God himself wants to punish me because I can't think of anything that I've done.
Well, let's isolate each incident.
God, why do I get psychoanalyzed
'cause
every week? I'm the psychoanalyzer.
I'm just trying to understand.
All right,
That's
fine, let's do
just
this.
for my purpose to
right, come
carry
on.
the conversation.
I do want to get to the topic of the show at some point, but let's do this. Come on,
Okay.
bring it at me. Come on.
Well, with Anne,
Taking a swig of beer.
she was really upset with you because of a particular incident live on the show, right? Where you were. How was the text conveyed to Anne after the show?
I
that
called her.
Oh, you called her.
Yeah. I said,
And how did
great
you-
I
show.
hung up on him.
Yeah. I said, great
Was
show.
it the way he conveyed his point to you, Anne, which caused you to be so upset? I mean, forget about the subject matter, but was it the way he said it or just what he said?
Well, the subject matter matters because it was a heavy show for women to talk about. It's a heavy show for anyone to talk about, and we managed to do it, whether I was interrupting or not, without yelling at each other, without, like Bunny told me, she said she's never once had a discussion on abortion without fighting and yelling. She's like, it was kind of phenomenal that we made it through that, interruptions or not. So, the subject matter's heavy
Okay.
and that you have to be responsible with it.
So it was a very
And then
emotional.
the first words I get for carrying a topic that he couldn't carry. Frank can't carry an abortion topic, no offense. But he couldn't the way a woman can. So for his first words out of his mouth to be like, you really interrupted a lot.
Yeah.
We counted. You
I
should
should
listen back.
I should have been
right away.
more
Yeah.
sensitive. I apologize to Anne.
So,
I
I
left that out.
slipped out and I hung up on him and I was just so pissed.
Okay, well, that
I
makes
don't know.
sense.
But
What
I
about
think
the other
he triggered
three?
it. I think that was it.
Well,
I
if
behaved
my-
badly.
The other three make sense, but, if your boss thinks you're calling them a Nazi,
What about your wife?
oh, that one makes no sense.
Why?
No, I'm kidding. That one makes sense because here's the thing, okay? Now, I know this is just a podcast.
Right.
My bio right now is another podcast you'll never listen to. I know everybody has a podcast, and their dog has a podcast. And I understand what I'm going up against because I really do believe in this show, and I want to be successful through the show. I don't have a Tumblr. I don't have an Instagram. I don't have a blog site.
Sorry, someone said something funny in chat.
What did they say?
I have some advice for Frank. Stop burping during the show. I'm like, that's me, Millie. Sorry.
No, I that was me earlier. But it's all of us.
Oh, okay.
All right, I won't burp anymore.
Yeah, we burp.
This show is not just a podcast to me. It's not about vanity. It's not about ego. It's not about gaining followers. It is so much deeper to me. This is, I feel, my calling, and I want to be great at it. And to be great at something takes a long time. It's the same as if somebody says, I want to be a musician. I was telling my wife that this morning, because to answer your question, the reason my wife is upset is because I spend a lot of time planning the show, believe it or not. And, I call you guys throughout the week. There's a lot of text, and it takes away emotional energy from my wife, who misses me. She loves me very much. It comes from a good place.
We're all doing that.
Yeah, and it's hard, but to be good at something, you have to dedicate time. You don't just pick it up and you're all of a sudden great.
Right, but if you maybe explain to her, this is what I have to do. I really love doing the show. I have a feeling you didn't say it like that. You probably said something a little bit more maybe standoffish, or maybe
I tend
for her to be upset. There's really a reason why she was upset.
Yeah.
If you explained it differently, just like if you explained it differently to Anne.
Here's the thing I know about women. Okay, I'm going to help you, Ned, too.
Okay,
and all the guys out there listening.
Thank you, expert.
No, I am an expert on women. I really am. I really am. If there was a fucking degree for knowing women, I would be the fucking...
a woman is an expert on a woman, but
no, I know women better. No, I know women better than they know themselves because I'm objective. And here's what I know about women. And you know what? I'll prove it right here, because like every time I do one of these, everyone gets mad, but then they can't deny the fact that I'm telling the truth. And that's what we do here on the show. I tell you the truth. Here's what I know about women, Ned and Anne. They view logic and debate and making a point as combative. Okay? Let me finish this. If you and I were to say, who's the better quarterback?
Not true.
Don't talk.
Just
and who's better quarterback, John Elway or Joe Montana? We would go over their stats. We'd go over the Super Bowl championships. We'd go over the surrounding talent, the era.
Right.
And we would have a very good discussion. And we may not agree on who's better, Joe Montana or John Elway, when clearly it's John Elway. We might not come to an agreement. However, the act of debating itself is something we find enjoyable because it's a fun conversation to have. Now, a woman, if you ask her who's better and you start to make the claim, not about the quarterback, but let's say there's just another thing that they want to tell you their point. The thing about women is they just merely want to tell you their point, and they just want you to listen. That's the end of it. They don't want to hear your point. They don't want to open their mind to another discussion. They don't want to debate. They don't care about any of that. They want you to listen. It's very narcissistic at its core. It's like, look,
it's my turn now.
Hold on, I'm not done. This is how I feel is a common thing a woman will say in an argument. That's how I feel. When you start pointing out that their logic is flawed or if there's a mistake in it, they'll say, well, it's how I feel, as if my feelings should trump logic. Women and men are different, okay? I think women are amazing. It's just a different brain. I'm not saying it's lower. Stop making fun of my gay hands. I'm not just laughing at my hands, Anne. I'm not saying it's lower or higher. It's different. For men, we value the truth. We value logic. We like debate. We like facts. They don't intimidate us at all.
So you're saying that this
The reason all these women went crazy on me this week is because when I was confronted, instead of just listening or being more quote-unquote sensitive, I made my case.
And you didn't let them emote or something? You didn't listen to them?
I know I did listen to them.
You did listen to them.
But it's not. They did not consider it listening because I was making a counter-argument.
Oh.
Yeah, see, the women don't...
So you should have said, I completely understand what you're saying, and I'm so sorry. You're 100% right. We'll just move on from here, and that's that. There's nothing else to talk about.
No, you should not counter-argue a woman. You should not make a point. You should not defend the truth. That upsets them. That's combative. And I'm telling the truth.
You're very combative about it right now.
Because I know what's coming. I know what's coming for me when this show ends. I know what's going to happen. It's going to be horrible.
But can I say
But there's
something?
men listening, cheering me. Like, they're looking over their shoulders right now like, oh my God, is my wife listening? And then they're just praying to the altar of Frank, going, God damn, where have you been? You're our prophecy. You're going to lead us to the promised land. You're telling the truth.
But Frank, can I say something real quick?
Did you tell your wife she's 100% right?
No, I defended
it. She's wrong.
She is wrong.
Wow.
Well,
no. You know what? I have the exact same situation you have. I put a lot of time.
She's not wrong.
I get annoyed with my kids.
In case she's listening, I'm scared. She listening? Can she hear me? Just making sure my wife can hear me.
The only difference between your wife and my husband is he doesn't care.
I know, and I'm jealous.
Think he cares about the time and the valuable time with you, and you're spending it on this show.
Well,
and she really values it. My husband has never been that way. He's never, he would choose to go out with, I don't know, we're not super dependent on each other.
You're so lucky.
I would say he cares more, though, because he knows how much you love this show, and he knows how much it's kind of.
No,
You're talking about her husband.
Yeah, her husband.
Dick. What's his
No,
name?
I told Frank he likes me off his case. Like,
Yeah.
it's a way for me to not be nagging and bugging him. So I think that's why he likes it. And he supports me. He's a good husband, and he knows it's good. But no, he's okay with us being separate. So I think me not being on his case, he likes it. He likes when I go away.
I like when my wife goes away, and then she likes when I'm gone. I think that's normal.
Yeah.
I mean, you spend a lot of time together when you're married, but
it's just natural.
my wife is right on one case. Yes, it takes a lot of energy to do this show. I was saying earlier, like, if you want to be good at something, for instance, if you want to choose a musical instrument, because everyone laughs when you say I want to be good at podcasting. They're like, what are you fucking doing? It's a fucking podcast, loser. But an instrument, you don't just pick up a guitar and you rock at it. You got to play 3-4 hours a day. You got to get calluses. You got to get blisters. You got to suck. You got to not know how to do. You got to learn little bit by little bit, and you suck every day, and you get a little bit better. We've been doing this for 5 years. I am a lot better today than when we started. There's no arguing it. Do I think I'm good enough to go out and start shopping a demo reel? No. Do I think this show is tight and perfect? No. I think sometimes it lags. Blah blah blah. We're gonna work on it. In 5 more years. That'll be 10 years, 10,000 hours, according to that book. I believe I will be good enough to get a job in radio. I do believe that. And I understand the dedication and work involved. A lot of people, when they say they want a podcast, they think they're going to be geniuses. They turn it on, and it's hard. This isn't easy. So I work at it.
Right.
And while I'm working on it, my wife feels like that's less time we could be spending together. Okay?
If you know by giving a counter argument to their argument,
back to the point. Yes.
Why would you even attempt to give a counter argument, and why are you surprised that they're upset with you, knowing that if you do give a counter argument,
Jen's interrupting. That's 3.
knowing that you can't give while you're giving the counter argument, you know it upsets them even more, and you know that in advance. So why even?
Okay, that's a great question. Here's what I've been working on in therapy, and here's where I can improve as a man. I have some level.
Lots of areas.
Shut up, Ann. I have a need to be right. I have the need to prove my point. Probably at a level, not probably, honestly, at a level that is unhealthy. I take responsibility for that. Like, I'll find on Twitter somebody will say something incorrect, and it becomes not just passionate for me, but it becomes a mission that I must destroy them over a meaningless person on Twitter. So I recognize that I do have issues, because I can't just, if someone says something stupid, I should be zen about it and just let it go. They're stupid. That's their mistake. That's their life. But I feel the need to crush them. When people are hypocritical, I feel the need to crush them. Okay? A lot of people go, oh, hypocrites are annoying. I don't think they're annoying. I want to kill them and crush them. It's deep in my core. It's why I get so angry. And I recognize that that's a psychological issue. However, I don't apologize for it, because it's that psychological issue that has made me a great debater. It has made me research. It makes me smarter than everybody else I go against, because while they're just throwing out some random thing they read in a paper, I've been fucking digesting every article and cross-referencing every other article to destroy them. It makes me good. It makes me sharp, and I will destroy them. But I'll tell you why. Because hypocrisy is...
What have you learned, though?
What?
Can you rationalize with these trolls, for instance, when you have a topic and no one gets it and it's so obvious and there's no way? What have we learned from trying to convince people that are insane of something?
That you can't do it. You can't win. You can't get through to them.
So why are you... What I heard Ned say was, then why do you keep doing it with the people in your life, like me and your wife or whoever it may be? Why, if you know that they're not going to be able to understand or rationalize, why go there? You know they're going to freak out. So you had 4 people freak out on you.
Yeah, why does it surprise you?
Thing, pretty much.
It surprises me that, for starters, to answer your question first, Ned, it surprises me that telling the truth is seen as...
The truth doesn't matter, though, when it comes to emotions?
That upsets me. That right there upsets me. And I'll tell you why. To answer Ann's question now. You guys are great today, by the way. I love this. To me, losing control of all logical abilities because of the way you feel is very, very gross to me. It's very narcissistic, and this may be a psychological issue, but it doesn't mean I'm wrong. Just because I'm fucked up doesn't mean I'm wrong. For somebody to feel as if their feelings are more important than what's actually happening on the plane of the universe on this fucking planet Earth is really gross to me. It makes me violent. I have never assumed that the way I feel is more important than anyone else on this planet.
Bullshit!
No, it's not bullshit.
Have you considered self-harm instead of getting violent?
You never heard yourself say, I feel like doing this over that because I feel like it?
No, I'm not saying I don't have feelings, Ned. Of course, I'll sit there and go, I don't feel like it, or I feel hurt when you say that. But I still come from a logical place. And I understand if my feelings are incorrect, or if I'm giving them too much power.
Why can't both matter? Like, I think both play a part, and you want only this way, and you're saying the female or crazy person, whoever it may be, only wants it.
I'm just kidding.
Why can't it be a little of both?
It is a little of both.
I'm kind of a mix. I have those.
We're all a mix.
Yeah.
I admit, but I am pretty logical in how I react to things when it comes.
For a woman, you're like a genius. You're like an average intelligent man. No, I'm just kidding. No, you guys are right. It is a mix. I have feelings, okay? Like, if I turn on the news and I see a child is molested, I don't sit there and go, oh, well, we should just focus on the laws to prevent that child. I feel very sad for that child. I know what's happened to that child's life. I have empathy for it. But then to sit here and go, I'm going to go after every older white man that looks like the guy that perpetrated him when they've done nothing wrong, that would make me out of control of my emotions, much like the victim mafia does. I don't do that. I don't take it out on everybody that looks like that. I'll go, that person that actually hurt the child, they should go to prison. If you ever heard this show, I'm not just pro-death penalty. I've offered to do it myself. I've offered to go and shoot these fuckers or electrocute them myself. I don't have any problem with any of that shit.
I think I could help you.
Okay, let's do it.
Clarity over agreement, Jake. I mean, Frank, I think I mentioned this to you before. Instead of feeling more upset...
Why does everyone think I'm Jake? I'm not nearly as handsome as that guy. And his penis is huge, I hear.
Instead of feeling completely, upset and angry for someone not agreeing with you, why can't you just convey and be at peace with what you disagree on as long as they understand your point?
Because I'm not there yet. I am not emotionally in control or responsible enough to be there yet. I would like to get there one day. I'm not there yet. So it's a very good question. I think it takes work. It takes work to be able to understand the difference between the way you feel and what's actually happening. To moderate the difference between them. To have control over both. It's, again, much like learning an instrument. It doesn't happen overnight. It's very complex the way our minds work. Yeah. And I see a lot of people stop right there. They have a feeling or a reaction. They have anger. And that's it. That's as far as they'll ever think on that one topic. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm justified. Fuck you, kill everyone, victim mafia, I'm going to destroy you. Like that homosexual kid that tried to take our show down last week, who's obviously very mentally ill. He's never going to think past, I should look at the way I respond to things when somebody does nothing to me. The fact that I feel perpetrated upon by someone who's innocent, I should look into that. He'll never have that thought. That makes me very sad. Yeah. There are people out there, there's 7 billion of us now on this planet, and most of us don't even care to look past that. It's just a feeling. That's enough. And that's very narcissistic. Your feelings aren't enough. They're not. The way you feel is simply not enough to gauge a response.
They're meaningless, really.
They are. Well, we can't say that.
Oh, sorry.
The women will get mad. But you can't. You have no right.
How autistic of you guys.
It sounds very autistic. I know. I get accused of being a sociopath all the time. I'm not saying I don't feel things. Okay? I like the Buddhist mentality, which is the non-attachment. Let's put it in this route, because everyone loves the fucking Dalai Lama. Even though I say the same fucking shit that bald-headed motherfucker says every day, I'm just a lowly podcaster, right? So let's pretend I'm the Dalai Lama speaking, because he would agree with me. What I'm saying is, you can feel everything that everybody else feels. You can feel hurt, you can feel pain, you can feel sadness. It's all normal. Those are normal. Those are real. But you don't attach to them. That's what Buddhists are talking about when they say non-attachment. Or what you're saying, Ned, when you say clarity over agreement. It's understanding a feeling is there, but you don't attach, you don't cling, you don't base your decision off it. You let it sort of pass off you like water off a duck's back, and then you make a logical decision outside of that. That's an adult. That's self-actualized. That's responsible. So when the 4 women that have gone...
autistic adult.
It's not autistic to be in control of your emotions! What the fuck is wrong with you?
Control.
It's not autistic.
Very in control.
Autistic people, those fucking autistic people, they don't even pick up on social cues. They don't understand anything. They get mad, they bite their arm. I'm not biting my arm. I'm doing a goddamn fucking cultured show here. I'm tailoring what I've learned to try and help you fucking autistic people. We have a caller.
That was really good. Like, you need an applause or something.
I have the applause in my head. Can I just say, Anne, the reason women get upset... Oh, let's finish this point, and then I'll take the call. I'll wrap this up. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. Ned, women view having logical control over your emotions as weakness and as combative. And it cannot be argued. They will not argue it. You see how silent it is right now? And I don't understand that. Maybe I'm autistic. Maybe I have male brain syndrome, as they call it. I think I think it's weakness to give your emotions more power than reality. So call me crazy. All right, caller, you're on the air. Weren't we going to talk about Louis C.K.? What happened?
Well, after we wrap this up, we could.
Yeah, let's wrap this up and get on. Caller, 405 area
what's
code.
up?
Hey, I know who this is.
Yeah, it's Edgar.
Edgar. God, I love Edgar. Thanks for calling, Edgar. Again, the number is 855...
I've missed Edgar so much.
And interrupted me again.
Yeah, I just think Frank's full of shit. You're full of shit, Frank. This is why. It's real short. It's simple.
That's what she said.
You have analyzed these women. You're not stupid. You're intelligent. You've analyzed these women, whether it's subconsciously or consciously. I mean, you know.
It's probably both.
But you've analyzed these women, and then you like the reactions that you get.
That's kind of what you're saying, right, Ned?
You put them in.
Yeah.
You torment them.
I don't know if you like it. I think you can't help yourself.
And you don't just do it to women; you do it to everybody. And it's.
Thank you.
We all do it.
Yeah, don't we all do it? Like you're working out your issues with other people, right? Isn't that what being human is? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why am I held a higher standard? Just because I'm better looking and smarter and have a bigger penis than most people, it doesn't mean I'm not still human, right?
Nobody holds you to higher standards. You know the standards that they hold you to, but you present to them in such a way that it goes against the standards that you know they would hold you to.
But I don't understand.
I don't know. I think you just kind of just enjoy it a little bit.
I do enjoy. No, let's be
a total victim, dude. I don't know.
No. Let's be honest here on the Anne and Frank Show. That's what we do. The only thing dishonest about this show is our names. We're still us. We still do it every week. It comes from our heart. I have no problem putting it on the line and being honest. I do it as an example to you lesser people who can't. Use me as your hero, if you must. All I'm saying is whether I enjoy it or not, that's another conversation. I still value reality over feelings. And I think that's something I would like to teach to people. And if we're going to be really honest, yes, I get angry that reality and truth and what actually is happening is so easily swept under the rug by people. And I'll talk to my therapist. I'm going to go see her Tuesday. I'll work this out. But it is something that drives me crazy. I know it bothers most people. To me, it makes me violent. Maybe I've dealt with it more than other people have. Maybe I'm more sensitive to it than the rest of you. Maybe you guys haven't had to be on the other end of this as much as I have. I acknowledge that. However, still, at the end of the day, reality should trump everything. Reality should be respected. The truth is a virtue, and it shouldn't be something that's casually dismissed because of how you feel. I feel that when people do that, when they lose that internal war with themselves, when they give hold to the emotions and ignore it, that they are losing valuable time on this planet, that they are going to have a lower quality of life, that their entire experience on this planet is going to be shortchanged because they're losing the battle daily. And I care about people. So sometimes when I'm angry, yes, there's a psychological issue, something I probably dealt with. The other part of it, the healthy anger, is I don't want that for you guys. I don't want to see people losing ground like that every day. What kind of quality of life do you
Thanks
have?
for caring so much.
Thank you. No,
you.
you're welcome. See, that's all they wanted to hear. You really don't think I care, is what you're saying, Ann. You don't think I care.
No, you're actually truly, because I've met you many times, one of the nicest people I've met. Like my husband, you and Ned, all three of you men. I pick good men, but are like the nicest men that I've been around. So you are, but you are such a shit on internet and on here, and I think that's your way to kind of be completely honest. I think maybe in person you're not going to poke fun at people to their face.
Well, but I will stand my ground.
Right.
For instance, if somebody says to me, "You're wrong here," I will defend it. If I'm not, now this is the thing.
Does most of your conflict revolve around the internet?
At this current time, yes.
Good question.
It
Is that
manifests.
a yes?
Well, no, it manifests a lot on the internet.
No, that's
your
an
wife, your wife, your
that's-
employer, me. Yes.
What is the?
Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I mean, you know, except that, you know, when the internet actually interferes with your real life, it is fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's a good topic to be focused on, especially whenever you're the one that's getting fucked up by it.
Yeah, we could talk about that next week more at length. I do think we all kind of have drama originate off the internet. I think we're all dealing with that, right? If you're in a relationship, it's a new thing. It's new.
And what pisses you off the most is like the wagon train or the bandwagon mentality that occurs in general over topics where people take emotional stances on something that is really not even what they think it is because the way it's been presented by the media. And now I'm just rambling.
No, you're not. No, that was it.
I'm not. Okay.
No, that was it, dude. I hear violins of like happiness and peace harpsichords. No, you're dead on. That is it. Now, shouldn't that make everybody else mad? That people respond without reading? That they have an emotional reaction to news stories? That they ignore the fact that, for instance, the unarmed black boy that was shot by an evil white supremacist cop actually grabbed the cop's gun? Like, is that something that the rest of you don't get upset about? Is that not important? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No,
I always look at why I'm upset.
No, I don't mean why you're upset. Like, you can't just take a news story and ignore huge points of fact to push your agenda. At least you can't do that to me.
Oh, right.
Maybe the rest of the world is okay with it. Like, oh, they're just being wacky. To me, I want to crush it and kill them. Because it's dishonest. Again, two parts. To use Mike Brown as an example. You're lying. You're giving your emotions more power than reality. So you're a fucking narcissistic douchebag who should be crushed. And two, somebody out there, some black boy, is actually killed by a white supremacist. Like the dragging death a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago. And I think it's very fucked up to that guy. To make somebody who fucking attacks the police officers, to compare them to somebody who was fucking hooked to a bumper and dragged till his face came off. I think it's fucking disrespectful to the victims. So my anger is twofold. Again, I am coming from a good place. I care about humanity. I am right! I'm always right!
Well, and your combative nature is what you need to work on.
Yeah, I'm going to go to therapy and say, hey, therapist, can you fix me so I don't give a shit when some fucking black guys dragged to fucking death by a car bumper? Can you make that go away so I don't care? Fuck.
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ, I don't want someone to be dragged to death. I think it's wrong. I met that guy's family. Can we have a moment here?
I do think that the media does make a lot of they draw. There is a lot more attention paid to conflict with police in black communities than there is to the own conflict in the black communities where they're killing black on black crime.
Yeah. Why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't we talking about the most dangerous thing to a black teenage male is another fucking black male?
Because it's not racist?
Right, with a gun.
Why is that racist? That's a fact. I can
it's
support
not racist.
But that's my point. I can support that with... This is why women get mad at me.
I don't know.
I will start pulling out data sheets saying, look, 3-1, it's black on black crime. You're more in danger. That's what I do. That makes them crazy. The women go crazy. Why are you trying to argue this? I want to push my bullshit narrative that I feel comfortable in, and you're coming back at me with facts. You're combating me with reality. Do not combat me with reality, Jake. Frank.
Who's that?
Jake is my middle name. That's part of the fuck. Well, I got emotional there.
Well, that's totally a media issue. That's the mainstream media that pushes or that is doing that.
Of course, but you know what?
These situations already existed.
It's not just mainstream
The
media.
President of the United
Nobody.
States said this is not new. Let's don't pretend like this is new.
But we're nobodies. It's not just mainstream. It's everybody pushing it, like, that can't handle thinking about things.
Oh,
down
I don't
to
mean that. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what you guys are getting at, right? Is
Yeah,
that
I
the media
know, and
is not...
But I don't blame the media, because the media nowadays is not what it used to be. Okay, the media used to be about passing information. Now it's about making money. So this is William Randolph fucking Hearst. This is yellow journalism today. These news stations you're getting your news from.
I think there's some political agendas behind the media, dude.
No
They're
shit.
owned
That's
by
true as
people.
well. But that's again money. To me, that's money because that's lobbies.
Okay.
That's campaign fucking fundraising. It's all to push money. This is my theory. I could be wrong, but the news stations make money off advertising, off clicks. Every time you read a headline, every time you watch the station, they get paid. That's all they care about. They don't care about information. They don't care about telling the truth. Again, this isn't just the 4 women in my life going after me. This is the top corporations in this country that have their feelings trump reality. They don't care about telling you the agenda. They don't fucking care about telling you how you're getting really fucked in the ass by the government or corporations. They don't fucking care. They're going to push an agenda that makes them money. And I don't blame them because that's the way this system is set up. That's how they survive. I think it's sociopathic and horrible, but that's what they're going to do. I blame us. When we read those fucking newspaper headlines or we watch it, we succumb to it way too easy because we like the way it feels. Oh, Fox News gives me rage towards these
Jake,
people.
listen. I'm
CNN
totally with
gives me
you.
rage.
Thank
you.
But you
Of course
are
you are.
a
I'm a
different
genius.
intelligence level than the average person, and so you
Well,
have to realize that.
But I don't think people
You're
are
seeing
dumb.
more than what they're seeing.
I don't
in
think
order
people
to get them to
no.
see it, you just have to explain it, and you have to keep yourself from being emotional while you're explaining it, and try not to push. But,
Shut up, Ann. No, that's a good point.
Just
That's what I'm working
tell
on.
them what's going down. Let them know how stupid they are without pissing them off.
Well, that's
and
what's
you'll
gonna
be fine.
that's what's gonna take me another 5 years to get to that point, and then
You
we'll
get
have a
really
great radio
emotional
show.
about people being emotional.
I do. I'm not perfect, but at least I admit I'm not perfect. For fuck's sake,
That's called hypocrisy. Just
you're
so
a
you know.
cunt. How's that for your hypocrisy? And fucking cat and okay, all right. Let's settle this down. I'm sweating. It's a very very emotional show for me. What was I saying? Can we talk about the topic
I don't
now?
know.
We're 48 minutes into the show.
Yeah,
There's
let's-
13 minutes left.
Maybe we should just talk about the topic another day.
Yeah, can we just all do me a favor, so I don't have a heart attack? I'm already pushing 205 pounds. Okay, I'm not svelte. Stop looking at my hands, Ned. I have effeminate hands. Okay, deal with it. So that I don't have a heart attack. I would like to see at least the people that I feel I've been doing this show for 5 years that are loyal, that listen to me every week. I would like to see examples. Please send them to me privately if you want. Of when you see a news story, or when you see something hashtag or go viral, or everyone's talking about something, I would like to see an example where you stopped, where you did not get involved in the herd mentality, and you went and researched it on your own. That would be like Christmas for Frank. If you said, look, everyone's saying this, but I researched it, that's not actually what happened, I would have the biggest fucking boner that you ever saw from you people, because that's how we're going to pull out of this mess. That's how America's going to be strong again. That's how everyone's going to be happy. Mental health will be cured. If everybody just stopped and fucking took a little bit of time to look at reality and start fucking putting more value on truth and not how you feel, we would be in better shape. It's the fucking way to solve the world. I solved the goddamn world, Ned. I have solved the world's problems, and I'm angry that nobody will listen. Thank you.
I think
All right, I'm done.
I think
I'm going
people
home.
they're just lazy. I think, meaning like, or they don't care. There's so many things to do in a day. People have bills to pay. They have to work. They only have time to glance at a headline and move on with their day. I really don't think people really want to go out of their way to find out how credit default swaps took place during the 2008 financial crisis. They just don't do it.
You nailed it, too. They don't care, and they're too busy, which is legitimate. They're too busy and don't care. And then someone in our chat room also mentioned that they're a lot of dumb people, which I don't know.
Right, there's a lot of people that aren't as analytical as we are.
I don't know if they're dumb.
They're dumb.
I think you're onto it though, Ned. I think they're maybe distracted. People aren't dumb. We wouldn't have.
And there are a lot of people that aren't
as
analytical.
Look outside your window. People aren't dumb.
All of you are analytical.
We're autistic.
You might be right in a way, Frank, because I think maybe in '79 when there was that Middle East crisis and gas prices went through the roof, and there were lines and lines of people waiting for gas. And then all of a sudden, people cared about the Middle East because that's when it finally, there's a world event that took place. Whatever the conflict was that affected the personal,
their wallet. Yeah.
And that's the only thing that gets people's attention here.
All right, well, then I'm not going to get mad. So what? People are distracted. Fine. All right, I moved on. I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay. We don't have to worry about it.
Well, when they can't go to the beach for a whole year, I hope that it can maybe not distract them.
There was an oil spill near...
Yeah, Goleta, California.
Our beaches, like our Southern California beaches, are completely destroyed probably for a year. You can still see the 2010 Gulf spill from a satellite. Like, it doesn't go away. And we also can't get them
But
back.
Does that affect people's wallets?
No.
Yeah.
Well, but gas prices go up.
When you lose oil, the prices will go up. Yes, but they care about the money, like you said. But I wish they cared more about the fact that you're ruining your actual world.
Well, again, reality over emotion. Your emotion to paying an extra $1 for gas, you get angry. Now you care.
Yeah.
You don't fucking care that the goddamn Earth is poisoned.
Yeah, I know. It's just
okay. Well, then I have a right to be angry. We all agree I can move on. Okay, so I'm right.
Well, that's how people. I'm surprised you're
and
shocked.
Women are wrong,
but I'm surprised you're surprised by this.
I'm not surprised.
Of course, people don't care because it doesn't affect them. People are fucking selfish.
Okay, good. Then God bless the human animal. Fine, we'll be fine. We'll pull through this somehow.
I believe people can learn, though. There's things I didn't know that you hear, and it just takes someone. It could be one person at a time that you explain something to, and I love it when they get it. When they're like, I tried that. That really worked.
Yeah.
Or, I didn't realize that this happens. If you do this, this happens. There's people that really are ignorant, and it's just because no one has informed them. And I feel like, it's like church. We're church. Other people are church. You're sharing the words that you know and hope that it plants a seed in some of these people. And most of them it won't because their soil is arid and disgusting and filled with just hell, like some people that we know. But most of us have rich soil. So,
good analogy.
In people that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what?
I always compare it to gardening.
I like it, and we just keep doing this show because this show is a safe haven for smart people. It is. So that we will find our audience. We're already being simulcast.
And also, Frank, people are around other people that they're like. I feel like people's opinions, whether it's political or what they like to talk about, they're usually the same because they hang out with each other.
That's true.
People don't really hang out with people who are on the opposite spectrum of things.
I got an idea. We build an ark, we flood the planet, and we put somebody from each group in a fucking boat. And we start over again.
Yeah.
And we make them talk because it's going to be 30, 40 years before you can plant again.
Or drown them like God did. Like, he knew what's up.
God is so awesome. He's so beautiful.
Maybe that's what happens.
You believe in God?
Texas,
I don't, but
they're the ones that...
I'm sorry, I don't believe in God, no, but I do think the flood would be awesome right now. I am a fan of the idea of God. Okay, chat wants us to move on. We got 8 minutes left. Let's bring this down. Okay, we've done enough therapy on me. Okay, everyone agree? All right, let's spend 8 minutes on our actual hour-long topic. Remember when I told you at the beginning of the show I only had 10 minutes of material? Yeah. This is perfect.
That's why I wasn't nervous.
Well, we don't get nervous because we're good. We are one of the better podcasts out there, despite what anyone tells you. Okay, so switching gears. Hope the chat's happy. Hope you're fucking happy, chat.
So comedy.
Comedy is very scary today. Now, I can tell you this much. I've grown up around brilliant comedians. Okay? Probably can't tell it by my sense of humor, but I've watched the most brilliant comedians. I have met the most brilliant comedians in my life. Comedy, to me, is one of the highest art forms anybody can achieve. Real comedy. And what I mean by real comedy is boundary pushing, truth telling. It's not about, it's not like fucking, you may be a redneck telling a joke. Although those guys are funny. I love
those, though.
I do, too. Carrot Top is funny. I went and saw him live. He is fucking funny. It's just not the kind of comedy. that I enjoy. In fact, I saw a documentary on Roseanne Barr, who ran for president, called Roseanne for President, and she has this great line in there where she says, the difference between a real comedian and a serious comedian is this. A real comedian just goes for the laugh, but a serious comedian, which are born from the ages of jesters, court jesters who used to be able to tell the king jokes, they risked their lives. They used to get beheaded if they told the king too much truth. That's a different level of comedy. Those are who I like. Now, I'm mentioning guys like Richard Pryor, Lenny Bruce, Chris Rock even, his Bigger and Blacker, or no, the one before it, Bring the Pain, one of the fucking best hours of stand-up I've ever seen. That was the one with when he's like, black people blame the media. It's the media. He's like, when I go to the ATM in the middle of the night, I'm not looking for Mike Wallace. I'm looking for niggers. Remember that?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Guys like that. That's cutting edge. Louis C.K. is one that I actually am very fond of. I don't know if he's on their level yet, but last week on the 40th anniversary series finale of SNL, he did a brilliant bit. Lots of things he talked about, but specifically he mentioned child molesters. And let's take a listen because I want to talk about this.
The 70s were very different. In the 70s, there was a child molester that lived in my hometown. And it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like, we call it a child molester. It was just like, yeah, that's the house where the child molester lives. He lives where, hey, kids, don't be stupid or you'll get molested. Just stay away from the child molester house. I know because he did something to me when I was your age. So just stay away from the child molester house. We had a town child molester. His name was Jean Baptiste. It's a true story. He liked teenage boys. That's when you would find out, because I was a teenage boy. He didn't like me. I felt a little bad. Like, not you. He wasn't into me. But he would drive up next to teenage boys and he'd say, hello, would you like to go to McDonald's? And you're like, no. And he's like, why you don't like McDonald's? And then you're trapped, because of course everybody liked McDonald's. It was the 70s. And then I had one friend who used to get in the car. He'd be like, sure, I'll go. And he'd get in the car. He'd go to McDonald's and eat a burger. And then he'd say, see ya. And he'd just take off. And Jean-Baptiste was like, oh, I did not get to that child. And he foiled again. But he'd always try. Maybe this time. Because child molesters are very tenacious people. They love molesting childs. It's crazy. It's like their favorite thing. I mean, it's so crazy because when you consider the risk in being a child molester, speaking not of even the damage you're doing, but the risk, there is no worse life available to a human than being a caught child molester. And yet they still do it. Which you can only really surmise that it must be really good. I mean, from their point of view, it must be amazing for them to risk so much.
This is so ballsy.
How do you think I feel? It's my last show, probably. Look, I can't key into it because I love Mounds bars. I love Mounds bars. It's my favorite thing, right? But there's a limit. I mean, I can't even eat a Mounds bar and do something else at the same time. That's how much I love them. Like, if I'm eating a Mounds bar, I can't read the paper. Like, I have to just sit there with it in my mouth and go, why is this so good? I love this so much. And because they are delicious. And yet, if somebody said to me, if you eat another Mounds bar, you'll go to jail and everybody will hate you, I would stop eating them. Because they do taste delicious, but they don't taste as good as a young boy does. And to a child molester, not to me, not to us, because we're all awesome.
Wow. I mean, it's the fucking white-hot zone of brilliant comedy. It's a little uncomfortable. It's pure truth. I wasn't actually uncomfortable at all. It's brilliant, and it's funny. And I tell you, people laughed at that in spite of themselves. Louis C.K., of course, is in a world of shit because it's fucking 2015. You can't tell a joke these days. You can't do it. Now he's pro-child molestation.
Well, if he did it on a stand-up routine in a club, that's different versus Saturday Night Live.
I don't know. Michael Richards did the nigger bit.
Well, that was over the top.
I mean, that was pretty bad. Yeah, I can't really defend that. But I'm just saying, that was in a private nightclub. Everyone's got a cell phone nowadays. Everybody's got live tweet. They'll tweet it out. You'll be in trouble the next day. It is a grievance culture. And now, again, somebody who's a fan of comedy, and I think that was a great bit. It's weird to me in my lifetime. I'll be 37 next month. So I grew up in the 80s. And I have seen sort of this weird approach to comedy that I don't understand. Now, the 80s were the heyday. That was Sam Kinison. That was Pryor. Prior 70s, but whatever. I have seen in the last maybe 10 years this weird aversion to this kind of comedy. It's been insulted as shock comedy, as lowbrow. There's nothing lowbrow about what Louis C.K. did there. It's high level. And really, people are reacting very emotionally. Not everybody. Most people like this bit, but those people that are coming after him now, it's very scary. And I have a theory about this, okay? I want to explain. I'm sure back in the days, there were mentally ill victim mafia members that heard Richard Pryor say nigger and freaked out. And they were in their little small groups, much like the homosexual who called my employer last week. They don't have friends. They're lonely. And as far as in their world, nobody really listens to them. And this stuff never grew. There was never the fervent fucking reaction out of it that there is now. My theory is, with social media, nowadays with Twitter, Facebook, being accessible, we now have all the mentally ill people who should be locked up in hospitals. They are now tweeting as an opinion, and they are finding each other, and they are growing as an army, and they should be locked up.
Thanks, Reagan.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Reagan, for putting fucking crazy people out in the street. Yeah, and not only do we put crazy people on the street,
comedy shows.
We can't. These crazy people are now anti-Gamergate. They're certain sects of feminism now. That's why they're fucking batshit crazy and coming up with fart rape. These are mentally ill people that should be locked up, and they have a voice. Imagine the world where fucking mentally ill people are listened to in the same breath as somebody as brilliant as me or Louis C.K. and given the same amount of respect.
These are actually the same people. You know, I really think they're on the same side of people. These victim mafia are the same people that put someone like Bill Cosby or Woody Allen on a platform.
Yes.
And that is who should not be doing comedy anymore. You shouldn't be doing comedy as an accused rapist and as a child, as a, you know, an incestual child molester. But those people are okay. But here comes Louis C.K., who just put it out there. He just made everyone uncomfortable for the fact that he's right. There's something wrong with child molesters that they don't stop. And that's, people only heard that he's a child molester because he made the point really obvious by comparing it to Mounds bars. Like, I love them more than anything, but I would quit them because I wouldn't want to be treated that way. So, you know, people that didn't analyze it that way, they didn't hear that he's saying, there's no way we can stop these people. We have to do something. All they heard is that he likes the way little boys taste.
Right. Because context does not matter to the mentally ill. They don't care about context. They don't care about debate. They don't care about truth. They only care about how they feel. And they felt uncomfortable when he said kids are really good at sex. And that was it. That was the end of it. Didn't matter what he was saying.
It made them wonder if they were, probably. I think those people are probably like, Like, I wonder why it would make them so uncomfortable. Because they are a victim that never probably got treated right. And like you said, I almost guarantee you every single person that freaks out and calls them a child molester was molested. Almost.
Yeah.
You know, so people don't freak out. But they probably were, and they didn't get treated. So they are sick. They are mentally ill. Because I have been abused, and it didn't bother me one bit. Not even a little. I wasn't even a little uncomfortable because, you know, I went through therapy for years.
Mm-hmm.
So I've dealt with it. So I think those people haven't dealt with their problems. So whatever they're so upset about, whether it's racism or this or that, it's because they haven't dealt with it. So, like, they're not fake victims. They were real victims, I believe. I think they now never got over that cycle. They didn't get healed.
You know what? You might actually be the most brilliant person I've ever met, Anne, because I think you're right. A woman's right. It happened. Let's all clap. No, but really, like, you know, I call them faux victims, but it would be irresponsible.
They're in the victim cycle. They're stuck.
And how do you get in that victim cycle? How do you identify as a victim if you have not been victimized? Maybe I am autistic, not empathetic as I like, because now I sort of feel sorry. Like, maybe mental illness is not something you're born with. Maybe you've been victimized and never heard, and now you're mentally ill with a Twitter account, and now you're a modern feminist. Or you're a fucking, and I don't mean normal modern feminist, like the crazy fart rape ones. Or
fart rape feminist. You just call them fart rape feminist.
Fart rape feminist, of course, because a modern feminist is fine. No problem with a real feminist. I like feminists. But yeah, maybe the victim mafia has actually all been victimized, like that young homosexual ridiculous moron that called our show last week. Maybe he's been, I don't know, maybe one of his parents is an alcoholic. You know what I mean? Maybe they abandoned him when he was young and he hasn't dealt with it, so he's going to take it out on me. Now I feel sorry for these people.
Again, now after all that, he will again.
Well, you know what? Then he should go to therapy and work on his issues instead of putting it on our show, instead of trying to get me fired or the Victim Mafia trying to shut down every fucking Christian bakery in the country. Instead of trying to take it out on other people, why don't you go talk to somebody? Maybe a therapist, and then maybe you can deal with your hurt in a way that's constructive. Maybe the reality of your life matters more than how you feel.
But if the pattern's gone from 5 until 25, if this victim cycle, it's really difficult. It has to happen when they're children. I really believe that, or when the incident happens, or it has to be dealt with right then, or this, it's just like a snowball. It snowballs. The pattern increase. They're the friends that say, like, no one wants to go to whatever with me, like, and I'm so alone. Like, it's this pattern. It's a life pattern, and so soon, they found a way to kind of vent their frustrations, and it's therapy to them.
Yeah, therapy is where they're working out their issues. I'm sorry.
But they're working it out, just like we are on the radio.
Yeah.
We work it out. We just are trying to do it healthily. We're not actually going after people's lives. We're saying what we think is right and wrong, or whatever we may do, share the facts. But no, they are actually trying to hurt people. They're actually victimizing, and that's where they don't see the victim cycle. They feel victimized, but they're victimizing. Like, that's what pedophiles do. That's what pedophiles were all molested, and I'll say that, till I die.
It's true.
They were all molested.
I believe that.
So they are going to molest people if they aren't healed, and if, say, you don't get therapy, you may not become a molester. You may hate yourself. You may cut yourself. You may be a drug addict. There's lots of ways it manifests, but some, and mostly men, manifest violently or aggressively.
Yeah, I do. Because we're fucking awesome.
But you break a man. You don't want to break a boy or a man, I think, because their nature is so filled with testosterone and protection that it becomes super warped. It's a little more dangerous. We're more nurturers, so it becomes the teacher having sex with a child in a classroom. It doesn't feel as violent to some people.
No, or they'll say, I'm trying to help you as I fucking destroy you.
Yeah, and I think it's just as sick and twisted. It's just a little more disguised. It's just comes off as not as violent. But yeah, I think more women turn it inward, which is why you don't see as many female predators. I think they turn it into hating themselves, eating food, cutting themselves, doing, we take it out on ourselves.
Being fart rape feminists.
Yeah, like
for real.
Raped by,
do you ever notice, like, the fart rape feminists are all ugly?
I think men tend to take it more out on other people. Like, they become homicidal, we become suicidal. I think it's just a way we react.
Lots to talk about, lots to digest. I think we're going to wrap up here, but I think really what we should focus now on the Ann and Frank show, Ann and Ned, is that maybe instead of going after the Victim Mafia in such a logical, combative way, as maybe women have taught me, maybe we should be more empathetic to them and try and get them mental health. Try and get them therapy. Maybe we should start a Kickstarter fund for someone like Anita Sarkeesian or any fart rape feminist or anyone who's like far left-wing gun scent fucking whack jobs or the right-wing nut jobs that are fucking crazy. All those nut jobs you see on Twitter. Maybe we should be funding and pooling our money to get them someone to talk to. What do you think?
Just keep turning it around. I think we should just always turn it back around is a better way to handle it than attacking them as like your pieces of shit that are attacking us. It should be more like, why does this upset you so much? Did your dad rape you? Which I know sounds really aggressive.
That sounds combative.
But really, like, if Louis C.K. upset you that much, then you were molested and you're not over it.
Yeah.
So why does it upset you so much about Louis C.K. making a joke about the fact that we can't stop these sick individuals?
Oh, my God. If
there's something wrong with them.
When you're victimized, I read this stuff a lot, the worst part of being victimized is not telling anyone, not feeling safe to tell your family or whoever. Mm-hmm. And what happens is you carry that burden through your life, and then you feel on some level that you never validated. No one is telling you that what happened to you is wrong. And you carry this burden silently, and that wreaks havoc on you spiritually and psychologically. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe these are people that want to be heard, so they get on Twitter and they go after fart rape. Because they just want to be... No, I'm serious. Like, they just want to be heard because they're not being heard about what happened to them when they were a kid. I think that's it for this week. I think we gotta digest all this, but the Victim Mafia is somebody that, or is a group that maybe we shouldn't be so combative with. Maybe we should try and help them.
Not hate, pity, and truly want to hope for the best.
We should break the chain.
To get help.
I say that, but next week I'm going to be going after him again with fucking fury and vengeance. All right, well, I want to thank everybody for listening to the Anna Frank Show, our first ever simulcast show. I hope I didn't shut down K98 Talk, and they're going to kick me off. Hopefully we'll be back next week. I want to thank Mr. Kitte, or no, his name was Edgar? I can't remember, for calling in.
I think it was Edgar, or, yeah.
Well, he knows who he is, the Martian, and we love him, and I wanted to thank him for his call. It was a great call. And thank you, Ann, for not being a psycho bitch today. And Ned, thank you. Let's go. We're going to go take our dogs and meet the wives in Torrance. All right, well, thank you, everybody. We will see you next week. And would you like to hear my new song?
You have a new song? Of course I do.
It's a surprise
for you.
It's a surprise for you.
Aww.
All right, here we go. Thank you.
No one knows what it's like to be a genius who has a huge penis and is always right. No one knows just how hard it is to have a successful podcast, unless you only mention J-Lo's ass. And my dreams, they are empty, because I'm much too smart for this world. I have always told the truth, and that makes people go batshit insane.
What do you think, Ann? Pretty good, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm the best singer.
I love it.
How come no one compliments my singing?
I think they compliment your effort.
Okay,
is what they do. They don't quite compliment your lack of gift, but they definitely compliment your effort.
All right. Well, I compliment your effort. I love you both very much, Ned and Ann, and we have to go and pack up. So I won't be calling you after the show, but it's not because I'm mad at you for interrupting those 3 times that we counted. We have a ledger. I'll call you later.
Sorry, I got the baby in my arms.
All right. Well, go take care of your kid. All right. Thank you, everybody. What's he saying?
Get the bears. He wants his teddy bears. Mama, get the bears.
Okay.
And I am, because I don't want him to feel victimized.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thanks, everybody.